everyone, Trucker John here, and the Great Dutchman. So on this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences between rest stops, truck stops, and scenic overviews. Now, I did show this already in one of my other videos. I stayed here over the night. Yeah, you know, definitely one of my favorite spots to stop for my 10-hour rest break is the scenic overviews. Great thing about them is you will usually always find a parking spot. Even late at night, rarely is it full. And that's usually the best part about them. And then of course, when you wake up in the morning, you got this view, beautiful view. And usually they got some sort of history with them, like this one here. You know, this is the Truckee River, which is right down there. And it, you know, tells you a little bit about it, some history. So those are the best things about it. My favorites actually. Okay, so let's talk about the bad. There are some bad about it. So the bad thing is, you can hear, you're right next to the freeway in some instances. And it can be pretty loud, especially this one. We're right on a hill, so a lot of the trucks with the Jake brakes pass you with the Jake brake on. You're trying to sleep in the truck, which once I get to sleep, it's not a big deal, but you do hear it. So if you're a light sleeper, you know, that's definitely gonna be an issue. Another thing is there's no services. Okay, so as you can see, people just throw their crap out, pee bottles and trash, and you know, very disrespectful. There's no trash cans, so you know, instead of waiting to get to a truck stop or somewhere where there's a trash can, people just throw it out. And I think that's pretty terrible. I think there should be some sort of crackdown on that, because it you know, this is a beautiful area and it's cluttered with all this trash. And but you see that at the rest stops too, or pretty much anywhere where truckers stop, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, those are really the, you know, the good and the bad about it. Again, my favorite places, because I don't like truck stops, but I'm going to go over truck stops and rest stops in this video. And if I do see another scenic viewpoint where I can actually stop and park, I'll go over that. All right, and my second favorite place to park is always going to be our rest stop. And as you can see from the view behind me, I'm at my favorite one. It's here in Utah, of course. If you know my channel, I've come to really love the state of Utah. So the good things about rest stops are you're usually going to always find a parking, even late at night. They got restrooms, they got trash cans. This one in particular, they actually have like a little food cart or trailer food little thing going on. I've not tried their food before, but it's always there. And their information center is really nice. It's basically like a little museum on the inside. I've actually shown it in one of my other videos. You can go back and take a look at that one. So yeah, rest stops are usually really quiet. Like right now it's quiet. It's away from the interstate. Usually no one's here to bother you. It's nice and quiet. Parking is usually pretty easy to get into. Sometimes it's tight, especially at this time of day. I'll show you an example here. This is early in the morning, so if you get here at a decent time, you'll find spots like these over here. But if you get here late in the evening, first of all, you won't see that beautiful view. And this is what some people will call bonus parking. So as you can see, now these are not designated truck parking spots. So when you come in, you'd have to turn right into a spot here, which does make it quite difficult. It's not easy. So if you're not here early enough, it'd be hard to find a parking spot. But yeah, definitely rest stops are my go-to thing. Number one is just easier to park. You don't have to worry about backing in at a truck stop. You just pull right into a spot. Then afterwards, you just pull right out. Now, not to say I don't like backing in. I'm not afraid to back in at the truck stops. It's just so much easier here, so why not make life easier for myself, right? So yeah, definitely rest stops. My number two go-to place. Scenic overviews. This is kind of both. Kind of get both scenic and rest stop. I definitely find myself parking at the rest stops more than anywhere else, only because there's just more of them. There's not too many scenic overviews, so even though those are my favorites, it's not too many of them, so rarely do I ever get to stop at one. And it's also about timing. You know, sometimes I have to pass them because it's not time to stop yet. And yeah, so rest stops definitely probably my #1 place to stop always. Just convenient, the quietness, not dealing with too many people, and usually they're pretty well taken care of. You know, great facilities, and they have some information centers. Yeah, really good. All right, my least favorite place to park, hands down, is any truck stop. Now, of course, there are many benefits to a truck stop, but I think the negatives outweigh the positives for me. As you can see right here, this is #1 reason. This is very tight. Everyone's trying to park. Right now it's 6 p.m. in the evening, so every spot is premium. I mean, both these guys are trying to get around each other just to park. I'm in my least favorite parking spot of all, out of all the parking spots, and that is at the end. I do not like the ends because people swing too close to the hood of my truck or towards the back of my trailer. They get too close. And you get guys like this that park nose in for whatever reason. I mean, sometimes it's a good reason, but I don't know if this guy was because it's a good reason. You really should never park nose in like this guy. You should always back in, like what this guy over here is doing. And speaking of that, one of the other reasons why I do not like it is having trucks back into you. Not into you, but in between. You have to back in between these trucks. Now I have had my little mirror right there on my hood hit by somebody trying to back in. It didn't cause any damage. Those mirrors, they fold in. So the lady just folded in the mirror. She didn't even put a scuff mark on my mirror, so I didn't make it a big deal. But it happens all the time. I've actually seen it happen where somebody's backing up, like this guy's right in front of us, back right into the hood of another truck. And it's hard for me to sleep when I have no trucks on the left or the right of me when it's bedtime, because now I don't know if someone's going to try and park at 3 a.m. and they're dog tired and just got done driving 11 hours. Now they got to back up in a poorly lit parking lot with tight conditions, and I don't know if they have a spotter helping them. It's a fear of mine to get woken up in the middle of the night from someone hitting my truck, and then of course I have to jump up and get dressed, and hopefully they don't take off running. Thankfully I have my dash cam. I have my dash cam that runs 24/7, so it's going to catch the incident on camera. It just might not catch the license plate. But anyways, those are the #1 reasons why I do not like truck stops. But let's get into some more. So let's talk about the fact that we have to deal with people. Dealing with people is definitely not my favorite thing to do. You got to interact with people at the truck stops here. Not always a bad experience, but for the most part, yeah, I don't like people. For some of the good things now, they have pretty much whatever you need when it comes to needing supplies for your truck. Although they are overpriced, they do have pretty much everything you would need. They have an entire convenience store, food, drinks, supplies, whatever you need, they have it all. That's definitely one of the best things about truck stops. And they have a lot of cool stuff to look at also. Of course, they got showers for the truck drivers. Usually they're free. Of course, you got actual restrooms, got food, coffee. Yeah, babies. Got some toys to pick up for the kids on your way home. Excuse me.
Customer. 52.
Alright, so another good place to park. Now this one applied to all of you drivers. This is only going to be for the mega carriers most likely, like Prime, CR England, Swift. They're probably most likely everybody that's large like that has their own little yards and terminals throughout the country. Prime has three main yards. I'm right now in the Salt Lake City yard. So this is also a really good place to park. Usually plenty of parking, whether you're bobtailed or have a trailer. Great amenities here. You know, they have a full gym, showers, food. Well, for the most part, they have food 24 hours. Salt Lake City is trying to get there. Springfield is 24 hours, their restaurant. Super convenient though. Very nice place to park. We do have drop yards around the country. Some of them you can stay overnight, some of them you can't, like Fontana. I know for sure you cannot stay overnight. I've been woken up at 3 in the morning there a few times saying, hey, you can't park here. But at Denver, the Denver yard, you can park there overnight. So it just depends which yard you're at. I think the Florida yard, the Floral in Florida, we can park there overnight. They have showers there as well. So yeah, definitely a good place to park. Like I said, plenty of room. All right, we also have drop yards like this one here in Dallas, Texas, where basically it's not a Prime owned lot or facility, but they allow us to park here and drop trailers and pick up trailers and things of that nature. Now I have had the issue in the Fontana drop yard there in Southern California near Ontario. You cannot stay overnight. This one, they allow you to stay overnight, so I'm here for my 10-hour rest break. Twice I've tried to park at the Ontario Fontana drop yard, and both times 3 o'clock in the morning get a knock on the door. Hey, you can't park overnight here, you're gonna have to move. So yeah, you won't do that one again. So if you work for Prime, don't park overnight in the Fontana yard. They will wake you up right when you're in the middle of your sleep, if you're sleeping at night. So the good thing about these types of spots is plenty of room, usually. As you can see, I mean, this section where I am is dedicated just for Prime. It says Prime on the little, there's like these little concrete things, and it has the company names on them. So the ones behind me say Prime, so I couldn't park over there where those empty spots are. But there's a ton of Prime reserved spots, not only here, but there's a huge lot towards the back as well with more Prime trailers. So that's the good thing about this place. And they do have like little portable toilets over there by the guard shack, and they do have a driver's lounge. I have not been in it, so I don't know what it looks like, but I would imagine they have probably a little place to sit down and eat your food, or I don't know, maybe they have vending machines inside. I've never been in there, so I'm not sure. So that's the good things about this. Plus, being in a large area like Dallas, heavily populated area, is very hard to find parking. It's almost impossible. And the parking that you do find is usually not cheap to park. At the TA over here in Dallas, I think it's $25 a night. The reserve parking is probably much more. It's probably going to be more like $40 a night, if not more. So yeah, bad things about places like this, they're usually far from anything. So we're in the middle of an industrial and slash not a really good residential area. Definitely don't want to go walking the streets at night around here. But this place is gated, and they have security at the gate 24 hours, so that's a good thing. But yeah, but no real amenities, no showers, no bathrooms, well, except for the porta potty if you want to adventure into there. So yeah, nothing to eat here, no shopping. It's pretty much park and sleep. It's meant to drop off and pick up trailers. That's all it is. So definitely try to hit these spots when I can. There's several throughout the country. It's not just this one. There's too many to list, but we have several. Prime is trying to build more terminals. That's similar to the Springfield and the Salt Lake and the Pittston terminals. Those like main hub terminals. I've heard rumor of them trying to build one in Florida and possibly Texas. So those, would definitely help out in situations like this. I'm not sure where in those states. Florida doesn't really make sense to me though. Texas makes sense. I'm not sure about Florida. Why they would look at Florida, since we only hire about half the state anyway. So yeah, definitely on my list to stop at this location whenever I get a chance. All right, so just quick recap. So scenic overviews, number 1, rest stops, number 2, truck stops, number 3, and of course there's a few other places we can park around the country, but that doesn't apply to everybody, usually just the mega carriers or those companies that rent out lots throughout the country. Now, of course, these are all just my opinions and my observations. Everyone's going to have something different to say. I know Lyle from No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Go check out his channel. He just posted a video, basically talking about the same thing, and he prefers truck stops. But in the beginning of his career, when he first got into trucking, he always preferred the rest stops, like me. As he became a seasoned driver, he slowly appreciated the truck stops a little bit more than anywhere else. So maybe that will happen with me too. I'm still fairly new out here. Again, I'm not afraid to back in at the truck stops. I'm actually at a truck stop now. That was just because there's nowhere else to park tonight except for here. I'm in Twin Falls, Idaho, so not too many options at 6 p.m. I'm actually lucky I found this spot. But yeah, so some places I definitely will not park unless it's an emergency or if it's really, I have no choice at all. That would be an on-ramp or off-ramp. Sometimes you see those trucks lined up into a rest stop. If I'm taking like my 30-minute break, maybe I'll do that. But I would not take my 10-hour rest break in those situations. I would just move on down the road. Proper trip planning is going to help you avoid that. Like me, I try to shut down before 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at the latest. That helps me avoid those issues. Not always the case, so sometimes you don't get out of your shipper until 9 o'clock at night and you have to go somewhere to shut down. So you're just going to have to kind of figure something out. Another place I will not park, I won't park in a shopping center parking lot or a mall parking lot. Now, there are some like Walmarts that have designated parking spots for trucks, and I've seen, I think in Nebraska, there could be more around the country, but I know for sure in Nebraska they have several. A lot of the Walmarts have truck-specific parking spots. I've never actually parked at one before, and I don't know if I would. I guess if I had to, I would. It's a designated truck parking spot. Sure, why not? I got to take my break, might as well do it there, plus get some shopping done. But I would probably try to find a rest stop first, since that's usually my go-to. So that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope it helped a little. Just kind of, like I said, showing my idea on these subjects. These are totally my opinion. Tell me in the comments below, what's your favorite top 3 parking spots to go to? I'd really like to hear everyone's opinion on it. It's not really talked about too much, so I'd like to see what everyone else is doing out there. All right, guys, I'll see you down the road.